Hey everybody, happy Thursday night. Welcome to the latest Legacy Ascending Discovery Call. Daz won't be with us. She's off doing family duties and things, so y'all are stuck with the ball guy. Tonight we're going to be doing some review on some of the things that if you've been on our calls before, you'll be like, I knew that. But we're going to review because there's going to be a lot of new people on the call because we've been reaching out to the far corners of the earth because everybody needs free funding. And you're like, oh, I don't need free funding. Yeah, but that's because you're in the poverty mindset of using my own money is how I get rich. Listen, you can't name a rich person who used their own money. Michael Jordan did. No, he didn't. He has a lot of money, but when came time to do investment, he didn't use his own money. He might have made a little down payment, but he was borrowing. Well, Magic Johnson rehabbed all of what is it, Inglewood. Yeah, but he didn't use his own money for that either. He said, yeah, he did. No, he borrowed. Why would you use your own money when you can get it for free? Well, banks, charge you interest. Really? Now, granted, right now those interest rates are going up. Yes, yes, but until recently, what's the price of your time? What's the price of your time? It can be equivalent to the question, what's the only non-renewable resource on the planet? Time. You can't get it back. You're investing your time, and I'm grateful that you're with me here right now. You can't get this time back you're spending with me. So hopefully I will make it valuable. I want to make sure that anytime we do one of these calls, everybody on here gets at least $1,000 worth of value. That's my goal, $1,000 worth of value. So, and I'm myself, I want to get $1,000 worth of value from hanging out with all y'all. So I appreciate everybody coming, being here, and rapt attention. So credit is how rich people get richer. Using your own money is how poor people get poorer. Let me say that again. I know some of you are like, whoa, how dare you? Again, name me a rich dude who didn't borrow to get there. Name me a company who doesn't borrow. That's one of the reasons why when you do your fundamental research on the companies you're investing in, that's why there's a debt to income ratio on that. It's a part of their financials. Companies don't spend their own cash. They're using it to leverage things, but they're using other people's money to do so, primarily banks. And that's how we are going to build our generational wealth with other institutions' money. Now, we don't want to borrow other people's money. That's, we want to get them I want to get Davian some money. I don't want to borrow money from him. But Davian and I both want to borrow from Bank of America a lot. Wells Fargo, U.S. Bank, bankrupt U.S. Bank. So we're going to talk about some basics, and then we're going to get into some new stuff, which is pretty exciting. So far, since we've been doing this, we've gotten, 6 C notes times 1,000 to folks, we're very excited about that, and we have streamlined this process now so well that we're getting approval same day. And denials if you don't quite have it, but those denials are turning out where if you apply, and we're going to show you how to apply here in a minute, it's very easy and virtually free. If you apply and you get denied, our lenders tell you why. And if they can help you fix it, they will. And if they can't, we can. And the only time where you might apply and be denied and then, gosh, I don't know what we can do for you, is in the cases if you've got a IRS tax lien, a recent foreclosure, or you've got a bankruptcy that's sitting on your credit. There's nothing really we can do for you then. However, that doesn't mean you're out. And there's videos upon videos and education, and we'll walk you through, once you're an affiliate, how to use an LLC or a corporate structure to be able to leverage someone else's credit who does have good credit to get the kind of money we're talking about. There's just no way for you to lose. And some of you, I know this is no way to start with new folks, but some of you have been running excuses. Oh, well, my credit's bad. Oh, well, I don't know what I'm going to do with the money, which is fair. Oh, well, the excuse time is now a delay tactic. And now there isn't any excuses. Everybody knows somebody, if it's not you, who either can get their credit repaired or can help you build credit to their benefit as well, not just yours. We don't want people to give us their good hard-earned credit and kind of get nothing. Not even your grandma, not even your dad, not even your brother. Everybody should win, right? Everybody should win on every deal, and we show you how to do that. So, and this week in the real estate, for those of you who are doing that with us, we got lots of Georgia, Texas, and brand new Las Vegas properties that we're rolling out. And this is one of Dazzle's concepts that really snapped her out of poverty mindset and got her into staying focused on a few things. And there's a lot of things that we do. And as I go through these, hopefully you'll kind of land on one where you're like, hey, that's for me. That's for me. But I promise you, nothing that I say will get you more excited about your job. If you have a job and you're like, I love my job, well, good for you. And maybe you've got time outside of your job to do more. And we'd be very happy to help you with that. But I'm guessing most of you are like, I hate my job. I don't want to work for somebody else where they're leveraging my time for their benefit. You see, if you're getting paid to work a job, you're working at a discount. How do I know? Well, because a business can't work if they're paying you what you're worth. They have to steal from you. What are they stealing? They're stealing your time, your expertise, your pain, your suffering, your life with your family. That's what they're stealing from you in order so that you can get a paycheck. How much of that paycheck do you get? About 70%. The IRS holds it in deposit for you with you having no access to it until you file your taxes, and they give it back to you a year later. Meantime, they've leveraged it, and kept you from doing so. One of the things we teach you is how to keep that stuff for yourself, that money stuff. And this is exactly why we believe that the key to wealth is credit. And we're so excited that right now in 2022, because interest rates are raising, the banks are realizing nobody wants to take a loan. Because who can afford it? Who can afford a loan? I went to the Toyota dealer to see about what the trade-in on my truck would be. Do you realize they were proud with my credit to offer me an 11% loan on a truck? Like, I was shocked. I'm sure my mouth wagged. Like, are you serious? Who would do that? Nobody. And granted, that's not bad. It's not 30% like on a credit card, but still, like for a car loan, an equity loan, jeez. So nobody's borrowing. You know the housing market's falling down because nobody can get a loan. People who were once qualified for that $500,000 house with the new interest rate, nope, not anymore. Sorry. And it can happen overnight thanks to Mr. Powell last Wednesday, and we know he's going to raise the interest rates again in November, conveniently after the election. But we can get around that because we have such a good relationship with lenders. Now, I'm going to talk about our funding program, but I'm also going to talk about our real estate program and our affiliate program later. And of course, before that, we're going to get into what we can do with the money. We're going to go through our short-term processes, which we've talked about, but I got two new ones. That's what y'all are waiting for. And I got a very special guest who's going to hop on. Oh, he's already here. He's waiting in the wings to tell us about his very special product that, once you're funded to a certain amount, you can do this. Set up your generational wealth. So we can get you approved, depending on your credit, up to $100,000. We call that level 1 credit. We'll talk about that in a second. But you have to have the knowledge of what you're going to do with the money. We don't let anybody get funded unless they know what they're going to do with it. And you all maybe don't know exactly the statistics on the lottery winners, but you've heard, and it's true, that there is a strong percentage of lottery winners who for the next 20 years will be getting $15 million a year. They're broke within year 3, and no amount of $13 million a year will get them out of it because they don't know what to do with their money. They don't know. We don't want any of you to have that problem, and you won't. So what's special about this week for us? We're going to talk to you about our Amazon and Shopify systems, y'all. The new ones. We've had our big, expensive Shopify system, which is still good, still going, still happy. We love it. But you've been waiting patiently for us to be able to bring to you, hey, I didn't get $80,000. I only got 40, 35. What can I do there? We got it for you. So we want you to take the money that you get from our lenders and put it to use. We had, maybe it was Monday, I was talking to somebody who had gotten funding, and they said, you know what I'm really excited about with this money I just got from your lender is I'm going to be able to pay off my debts with this. I'm like, what? What? No. No, we don't take credit to pay off debt, especially not 0% debt that's designed to make more money. Let me say this in the clear. The best way to pay off your debt is to not pay off your debt. Your dad didn't teach you that because it was a different era back then. But now, the best way to pay off your debt is to not pay off your debt. If I give you $100,000, if you got $40,000 in debt and you're paying 15% a year, credit card, retail, doodad debt, you get $100,000. I give you $100,000 at 0%, and you take $30,000 of it and smack it down on debt. What have you just done? You've just whacked a huge portion of your ability to make money with Davian, which I'm going to show you how to do. You just took basically a geometric earning potential and put it down on money that you got for free. It was 15% a year. Free. I'm sorry, it's free. Given that if you had to work for it, it'd be different. The money that we're going to get you all is for investment and trading, if you wish to do that, but don't tell them. Trading and investment only. Because if you work with Davian, I'm going to show you this in a minute, and all of a sudden you took $70,000 and you were able to make $6,000 a month. A month! Do you need to worry about your $30,000 credit, y'all? If this is making sense to you, put a 1 in the chat box. Now, if some of you are mad, I know some of you are mad, put an 8 in the chat box. It's okay to be mad. You're like, oh, how dare you? That's okay. Put that so I know I got some mad people. But if you're understanding what I'm saying, put a 1 in the chat box. If you're like, what is he talking? My dad was right. I'm putting my cash in the savings account. I pay off my house and my car as fast as I can. I'm going to pay down. If I got money, the first thing I would do is pay my 15% and less debt off. If that's you, put a 2 in the chat box. And that's okay too. Look, that's a formula for wealth that has gone on for the lower class, the lower, I shouldn't say lower class, that sounds terrible. The lesser earning and the middle class for, 100 years. Now the good news is there's a reason why they're in those tax brackets because they've been listening to that. But okay, so I got a lot of 1s. I got no 8s. Nobody's mad. How about this? You're bored. Put a B in the chat box if you're bored. Okay. So we need to use our money wisely, and not our money, but the money that we're going to give to the banks, because they don't give us 0% forever. Between 18 to 22 months. Some people with not so great credit get it for 12. But if we can't make 30, 40% on our money in a year, we shouldn't be doing this. And everything that's listed here, we're going to talk about it briefly, each one of these, can get you at least that. Many, many times more in some cases. Many, many times more. So this is what we do. We do corporate leverage. We try to get everything that you're looking for without you having to spend a dime of your own money. Well, except for that very first dollar, which we'll talk about. Let's talk about funding. Then we're going to talk about what we're going to do with it. We have 3 phases. The first phase is the one that y'all are going to apply for tonight. If you've got 685 FICO or better, and ideally, well, importantly, no bankruptcies or blemishes, no late payments. If you're 50%, if you're over 50% of your usage, that's usually okay because our lenders also have some programs to help you with that. But phase 2, once you get that money, you can leverage that into seasoned corporate credit, where you purchase a seasoned corporation from one of our vendors, and then over the course of several months, they build that credit up so that you can now leverage your $100,000 and up to $800,000, usually around $400,000 or $500,000. So now you can use this as collateralized debt to get into phase 3, where you get a equity loan against a property or a business with a bank on a real loan that will allow you to leverage this money out to a very nice sum that could very easily give you cash flow in the hundreds of thousands a month if you do it right. And the deal is none of this has cost you anything. That is our whole goal. So that if you're like, man, where's this money coming from? Well, you just need $1. I know it's hard to believe. Sounds like hocus pocus to me. Well, I get that. I understand. But when you understand that the banks need to have loans on their books now, they're willing to extend 0% credit, not to people, but to companies, because the nature of a company is that it makes money and thus would have a better chance of paying back the loan than somebody who goes win Lambo and then goes buy some silly doodad. So for us, we want to use and leverage the funding that they give us into even more ideas. Stores or businesses, machinery if you're into business. Real estate is where our kind of Charlemagne is. Trading, another one that we're great at. And then also using more of it to create more leverage, to get more equity, to get more cash flow. That's what we're wanting. What do you need? Well, not a whole lot. They don't ask you for financials. There's no income verification. You can get 0% on our credit from 12 months out to, we've seen as long as 22. That's kind of the outside. It costs you $1. You really need to have a 685 FICO or better. You could go lower than this by a little bit, but you need to have everything else squeaky clean. It's kind of 685 is kind of our baseline. You need to have a corporate bank account and an EIN. And you're like, whoa, shoot, whoa. Where's that coming from? How am I doing that? We show you how to do that. Once you're approved, you can get your EIN, your LLC in a non-state tax state, as well as a corporate bank account within 24 hours. Don't worry. We got you. We got you. Okay. Any questions so far? Let's see. What am I missing here? Let's show you how to do it. How you do it is you got that 685, you got corporate clean. You're going to go to 3scoresnow.com. It's not our website. It's just a credit thing. It's a soft pull on your credit, so it doesn't matter. No one's going to see that you checked your credit. It'll come up as My Score IQ, perhaps. But you just basically, it's $1 for 7 days, and then after you get your scores, you decline to move forward. Then you're going to download the scores as a PDF, and you're going to email those scores to funding@legacyascending.com. This is our secure email. From there, we send them to our lender. In the body of the email, please send your name, address, phone, and last four of your social, because part of the security problem is that PDF gets split off from the email, and sometimes who that belongs to can get lost because there's only certain things that we're legally allowed to see. So any questions about this? And you could, for the next 20 minutes while I go through some of these, you could just apply. I ain't going to get mad if you just go and apply. So you can do that in the meantime. Let's not talk about affiliates. So if you don't have a good FICO score, you're like, oh man. And these are some of the things that some of you have that are making it bad. We've seen people with 820s rejected because they had some of these, one or more of these. If you have some of these, like too much credit usage or not enough credit usage or single cards over the 50% limit, or you don't have a lot of accounts that you've paid off or not enough history, those are all things that we can solve. Don't worry. That's the reason your score is low. We got that through trade lines, through their programs, and of course some other things. If you've got blemishes or your score is just low and it's just low, also credit limits. That's another one. Or you got too many inquiries. These are things that one of our partners does and handles very quickly and effectively. And you can get those handled in 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 months, and then you're ready to apply. So one of the things we can do is just simply fix our credit and reapply. Another one of the things you can do is join our affiliate program, which I'll talk about in a minute, and just get the money that you need and start applying that. Trade lines is another thing that we offer. So, for example, if you don't have good credit history, and by good, I don't mean there's bad stuff, but you just don't have enough history. You maybe had a bankruptcy 10 years ago, and you only really started doing credit 5 years ago. That's not really a lot of history And the way these lenders look at you, they're looking at you through the glasses of credit for companies, not credit for people. So they have a little more stringent parameters for wanting to grant you funding. So they need, more history. They also need you to have credit lines that are in your name that are above $10,000, $20,000. And if you've only got a few $4,000 ones, But a trade line can help you because you end up borrowing for a small fee someone else's credit, personal credit, for long enough to report on your credit that, oh, I'm now on a $30,000 line. It's 10 years old. Perfectly legal under the Banking Act and the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act. Totally doable. Costs a little money. But then once there, you reapply, bam, looks good. Your credit all of a sudden jumped up 50 points. Works. And doing this can easily make the difference of 3x of what you otherwise would have gotten, which is pretty good. Then the last one that we talk about and is the kind of the brain bender is if you just can't get it, you got a bankruptcy or IRS tax lien. There was a time in my life where I had both. I still had a 750 credit, but I had a bankruptcy and an IRS tax lien. Then there's videos on our YouTube channel where we show you how to use your LLC and someone else's credit in the LLC to give you the credit that you're looking for while they benefit as well. So the requirements for lending, there's that 685. You got your corporate structure. You know what you're going to do with the money and a dollar. Again, that's what you got to do. Anybody got any questions about the funding side? This is level 1. We're not really going to talk about level 2 because it gets brain bending and I don't have that kind of time. And you don't really want to listen to it because it is numbers. And by the time you get your money and you're going, I got money that I didn't have yesterday, you'll be ready for it. You'll be like, what do I do now? Well, here's some things you can do. Anybody got any questions? Hop off mute. You can drop it into the chat box. If you're understanding, if you're with me, put a 3 in the chat box. If you're kind of confused, like, man, I don't, put a 0 in the chat box. That way, with the you 3s that are with me, I understand that you're not zombies. And I'm not speaking to zombies, and I feel like hands are reaching out, trying to eat brains, which is what I feel like right now because I still don't have any 3s. Everyone is zombies on this call. Zombified. There's Freon. Thank you, Davian. Chastity. C. Carrie. Crystal. Beautiful. This is sort of like Romper Room. I see Tanya and Mark and Belinda. Y'all too young to know Romper Room. I always thought that lady was cute. I mean, she's a girl, but at that time I thought she was a lady. She was. Is. She's still alive. Okay, thank you, Belinda. Let's talk about what we can do with the money. Now you're like, phew, finally through that. Let's talk about what we're going to do. How are we going to get rich, y'all? DeFi. Boom. We are coming up on waxing gibbous. What does waxing gibbous mean? Put it in the chat box. And if you had only gotten $10,000, call it $15,000. Let's say $12,000, $15,000 is what you got because maybe you had 685 and maybe we just squeaked out that you got some credit with the lenders, which is okay. Here's what you can do. If you understand the moon cycles, the Mercury retrograde cycles, you can have a strong probability of success trading those cycles. It sounds like hogwash. It sounds like pie in the sky, broken crystal ball nonsense. But when waxing gibbous comes full, you tell me if this ain't so. What does waxing gibbous mean, y'all? Put it in the chat box. Some of you know. Don't. It's okay. I won't say your teacher's pet if you say. But if you started with $10,000 and you put it into the DeFi structure that Daz talks about, and you lock it up and then borrow it and then put it into some of these others, like you don't have to keep it in crypto, by the way. You can borrow it out of your DeFi structure and put it into a Turo card or put it, give it to Davian to help with some of the costs of the store, etc. None of you know what waxing gibbous means? Come on. DCG. Carrie. It's okay, Carrie. You can say. I know you know. I won't call you teacher's pet. But everybody's got to know what this is about. We're not fooling around. This is how the markets work. They say millionaires watch the charts, but billionaires watch the... Millionaires watch the charts, but billionaires watch the... There it is. Carrie, you can't be the only person that knows that. Can't be. Can't be. Stars. They watch the stars. They watch the skies because how the universe is organized is around Mercury, moon, sun, all of it. And if you understand that the world really revolves on a 13-month, 28-day calendar, not this stupid Roman nonsense that they've whacked around to keep us confused and out of the flow nature, when you realize that, then you're like, oh, of course the markets are on a 28-day cycle. Guess what else is on a 28-day cycle? The moon. Some of you thought something else. Don't say. All right. This is where it gets exciting. Now, this is old hat. You all know this one. This is the Shopify store version A. We've already got 2 of these spots filled. We got 2 more to go for the rest of the year. After that, we got to beg, plead, and scrounge to get this to work because they have lines out the door to do this one. But you got to pull some cash, right? You got to pull at least $70,000, and for some of you, that's just not quite in the cards given your situation. They'll give you a guarantee to give you your money back in 8 months. If they don't, they write you a check, and you keep going from there. They split your income from there, or split their profits with you from there. And you can expect to see, depending on the situation and the cycle of the year that you're in, between $5,000 and $30,000 a month. They don't ask you for any product. This is all included. There's nothing in there but just that $50,000. They do suggest strongly, and kind of required, that you have some money in your bank account for returns, which is why I put in there $50,000 in reserve. And given that your credit costs 10%, you probably need to have pulled $70,000 to make this work. But it's guaranteed. And you're looking at making upwards of $200,000 a year. It's not a bad way of using 70 grand, right? And you're debt free in a very short period of time. And if you got that kind of cash, it probably also means that you got about 22,000 or 22 months left, and you could do it again, or take this money, go buy that seasoned company, and then start moving in the direction of the real estate. You guys are used to this. We've been talking about it. It's a very exciting thing, but not for everybody, because not everybody's going to pull 70,000. Next one. This is the one y'all been waiting for. I got 2 of these. I got an Amazon and I got a Shopify for the lesser credit pulls. So check this out. Now, Davian, you can say I'm full of hogwash here when I get through it all. To correct all the numbers you want. What's the credit limit for those numbers at the Shopify store? What do you mean the credit limit? I don't know what that means. What's the credit limit? You're confusing me, Lance. Lance, you snuck in, brother. What's the credit revolving? Dude, just hop off mute.
So, of course, you have to have a credit card to fund the purchasing in the store. I'm asking what type of credit amount would you have to see these types of numbers?
You're talking about version A?
Yes.
Yeah, there's none of that. 50,000 all in. They take care of all the purchases. They take care of the marketing. They take care of everything. You don't have. The only thing you got to do is just have a bank account with 5,000 in it, so that the returns come back, and they can pull a little money out. There's no inventory you have to purchase. They do it all for you on the 50,000 that they get from you. Now, the next 2 I'm going to show you, yes, there is that. Did that answer your question? Yes. No. Okay, cool. So this one, what I'm excited about this is for a lot more folks because they're scalable. The one I just showed you, not scalable. 50,000, that's it. You're moving on. Can you add more to it? No. It is what it is. Could you go buy another one? Yeah, but it's going to cost you another 50,000. There's not, oh, I've got 30, I can add to it. Nope. But the next 2 I'm going to show you, yes. You could start small and scale. And the more that you scale, from what I can tell, and Davian can correct me, it's a geometric rise in income. Geometric. The more money you put in, the more you make. Again, giving the season and giving the products and that stuff. But generally speaking, past profits are no guarantee of future earnings, blah, blah, blah. But let's see here. Right. So the Shopify version B is going to cost you 20,000 or 25. There's one or two versions of it with different products, but to keep round figures, it's 20,000 up front. They're going to say that you need to have at minimum $5,000 in product. Now, Lance, that's what you were talking about. How much product do I need to have going on? But that's minimum. Ideally, you've got another 20,000 in there. But for those of you who don't have don't have big capital, you could do this for a $28,000 outlay. You're going to return on your investment at about 12 months, debt free, and a little bit after that, you're going to get between $300 and $1,500 a month. And you're like, well, that ain't going to pay rent and, my car payment and my food. Well, I understand. But, and this is going to be the same thing with the Amazon store, when we ran the numbers, the point of this is not to get rich now. The point of this is to start small. And if this is all the credit you could pull, you could start with this and start rolling and at least start making $300, $500, maybe more a month. But because this money is at 0%, it's not your money, it's the bank's money. It's at 0%, y'all. You don't have to pay it back. You're paying 1% a month. That's $280 a month. That's less than the minimum you're going to make here. So you're definitely going to cover your nut on the loan. And then everything else, if you were to save it, and the next month save it, and it's bigger and bigger and bigger, and then you go, I'm going to put that into the business. You just geometrically went from $300 to $500 a month to $12 to $1,500 a month, and then you do it for 3 more months, bigger. Now you're doing $3,000 a month, because now you got $15,000 in product or $20,000 in product that you can purchase, and at that point you're building something that can really crank and give you on a 2-year return on investment. And I don't mean return of investment, I mean actually return on investment, right? The actual monetary return, not how long it takes you to get back. If you put in $25,000 in product, your total outlay is still around, let's just say 28, not 25. It's still around 28 because you didn't have to pay much more to get it because you're using money that you made from the system. You're debt free a long time ago, and you're cranking $42,000 a year on $20,000, $28,000 up front. That's pretty good. And this would be what I would classify as kind of the bottom level. If all you got was 30 grand, 28, you could participate in a retail store like this, and over time, with an intelligent use, scale up and keep scaling. If you keep going, keep scaling, get bigger and bigger. Okay, that's our Shopify version B. Here's the Amazon store. Now, I'm making this one bigger, but you could start smaller as well. So the cost up front is $18,000 to get in, and then your product. Now, you can do whatever product you want, but this is for people that didn't get the 70 for the bigger Shopify store. This is for people that are like, you know what, I got 45, I got 40, I got 50, even 35. You start small. Now, that isn't small, I get it. But let's say you did start around 20-ish, 25. You're looking at between $3,000 and $4,500 a month in the beginning. You're going to ROI in about 12 months or so. You're debt-free a little bit after that. In the same way, if you take the money and instead of paying off that debt right away, remember, how do we pay off debt? By not paying it off. Using that money to make more money. We dump another $50,000 back into product. The geometric curve gets us out to a very nice number that will take us into the 6 figures a year and a 75% 2-year ROI on an Amazon store. Now, Davian, you want to tell everybody how wrong I am about this?
Nah, man, you hit it on the nail. Yeah, I like everything that you put down, because that's exactly what's going on with some of our clients. We get those numbers right there. So,
and by the way, this is Davian's store. He's our client. He's our vendor. This is a very special guest to have him with us on a Thursday night. So he's gonna kind of tell him what I didn't say, because you got all kinds of colorful stuff. I'm just a silly numbers ball guy.
Well, for one, it's a lot of benefits with it. So, when you're building an Amazon store, I look at it as an asset. The reason why I say that is because, let's just say you've been having a store a year or two and you want to sell it. Well, you can sell this store for I done seen them sell for 75,000, 100,000. So that's one of the things. Another thing is because we'll be leveraging the credit, we getting all these reward points. So I mean, just points and stuff. I get a lot of free flights and hotel rooms or whatever I want to do with those points. So because we're gonna be doing a lot in sales, so just imagine how many points you can get just with that.
And for some of you, you're like, I want to do real estate. That's what I really want to do, but I didn't quite get the credit I was hoping for. I didn't get the 100 grand. Well, if you got, I'm making this up, you got 45 grand and you had an 18-month plan that at the end of 18 months, you dumped $75,000 in product into a store that was making $12,000 a month at $144,000 a year. How much could they sell that store for? Give or take.
Well, that store,
Yep. Give or take. Round figures.
I'll say easily 100,000.
So you put up, I'm saying you guys, not Davian. Davian's a multimillionaire by now. But you guys put up 50 grand-ish. You're going to sell it for 100 grand. You still have your capital left on credit, so you could literally pull $150,000 into a situation where you could get equity on a property that'll take you out to about $800,000, $900,000. And you haven't even started level 2 with us. That's just level 1. And by the way, you were making $144,000 for that last year. So you made the $144,000. They bought it from you for $100,000. You guys seeing this? Is anybody excited about this? Put an exclamation point in the chat box if you're like, holy crap, my head is just gone, what? The problem is it's so expensive, y'all. $1. No one's excited. Just Carrie Mack. Oh, there you guys are. Oh. I told you it was worth waiting for, you guys. I told you we weren't going to tell it to you until we knew that we had the ability to make the numbers work, and Davian totally handed us the golden platter. I'm sorry to interrupt you, Davian. I just, I wanted to make sure nobody missed that.
A lot of my clients, I've had some good store the other day, man. They just been showing me, they excited about their sales. I'm like, yeah, they like, man, I ain't never experienced passive income before. And I mean, if I would have known this years ago, I would have been ran through a brick wall to get that.
Oh, all the hell we've all been through before this came around. If we'd have known years ago, shoot. Freon's asking, what's the average credit range to lenders for you to qualify somebody 70 grand? 70,000. You really need to have like 70, 750. 750 folks are getting 65 and above. We've seen 820s get the 95s and aboves. Yeah. So if you're at low 7s, high 6s, your range is going to be 25 to probably 40. Probably. We've seen, but the good thing is the ranges, we love ranges because ranges are meant to be pushed. And we show you how to push that range in the interview that you'll have with the lender, because they will interview you over the phone. It's not like a Spanish Inquisition or anything. It's just they want to know that you know what you're talking about. We're going to train you how to talk. And for those of you who had to do a special application, we're going to show you how to fill out that application so that you get, if you got a range of 30 to 45, you might get 55. If you got a range of 45 to 65, you might get 75. So that's what we want. And Davian, you got to know this because you haven't worked with us on the funding side. These lenders, it's crazy. They want to give you money. When you show up and you've got a blemish, they kind of go, oh. They literally get upset. They're like, no, can you clean it off? I heard one time they're like, can you just, what can we do? And that's why they've got all these programs to help people that have spent a little too much on their credit cards and things like that. And they get excited when they can give somebody $100 grand. They're like, woo, good deal. They love it. So it's, we talk about how everything's backwards. Well, some things are backwards in our favor. And that's why when this opportunity was handed to me back in May by Daz, before she and I did this together, I was like, I've been waiting for this since 2009. I was expecting this to show up, but the interest rates kept dropping. And banks don't need to do anything if everybody wants a loan. But now they're starving, y'all. And not we, the social slaves, but the businesses that we can develop, that's what they want to loan money to, at least from now until the end of the year. Don't know what will happen next year. Probably more of the same. But they need to get it on their books for 2022. So now's the time to strike. Davian, what else do they need to know? What do you, let me just ask you just some straight questions then. So we've got a couple of Shopify solutions, which really don't have any competition with yours because yours is distinct, not only from us from a money standpoint, but also it's a totally different thing. What's different about Amazon from Shopify that people should know?
Oh, good question. The difference between Amazon and Shopify, for one, is or Amazon, you don't have to run any ads or nothing like that. Everybody know about Amazon, so that's one of the big difference. With Shopify, you gotta run ads and pixels and all that stuff. So you gotta have that marketing budget for that, and just to scale up to try to get your stuff up and running. With Amazon, you don't have to worry about none of that. Amazon got millions of customers that buys products every day, so that's the difference.
And how often do you get paid at Amazon?
You get paid in Amazon every 2 weeks.
Every 2 weeks. That's different than Shopify.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's the difference.
Yeah, because if you get paid every 2 weeks, you guys know how compounding works, right? There's a difference between compounding every month and then compounding every 2 weeks. Think about the compounding factor, because some of you, this is all you ever wanted to do. Some of you are like, you know what? Hang real estate, hang business. I'm gonna do this because it's not like online retail is going anywhere.
Nah,
Crypto's gonna fall down and cut its teeth on the pavement before retail does.
Right. Especially around times like this, Halloween and Black Friday and Christmas. It's gonna be crazy.
Crazy. So how long is it going to take? So like if somebody calls us and they're like, we want to work with Davian, and then we connect them to you and they pay you, they get you the $18,000 tomorrow. If they do it right now, can you get them up and running profitable for the December kind of rise?
Oh yeah.
Well, I can't think of a better incentive, y'all. So you want to work with Davian, you reach out to us. We will connect you tomorrow if you got the funding. And look, if you got 30 or 20 sitting in the bank, you don't even have to apply for funding. You should, because that'll only help you. But just let's get it going. Get rolling. Cool. Anything else, Davian, you want to roll on them?
Nah, not that I can think of.
Awesome. Well, it's such an honor to have you with us and spending your time. Folks, this is a dude he's got like 8 businesses all going 85 miles an hour. So we really appreciate your time hanging out with us, and we'll be with you soon. You're welcome to stick around.
Yeah, I'm gonna stick around, man. I like everything that I'm saying. So
all right, cool.
I'm a student too.
Okay, I love it. Thank you. All right, y'all. We talked about mining as another opportunity. A lot of stuff shifted in the last 3 weeks since we brought this to bear, but it is still profitable. Do not buy the retail nonsense they are selling. You got to buy it from eBay. eBay is where you got to do this. Let me show you. I haven't done this one before, but let me just show you. eBay. No. Stop it. Here we go. So the 3080 is the card that you're looking for. You can do a 3090, but honestly, the computation, no matter what anybody tells you, we ran the numbers over and over and over and over again. The 3080 is the one that you want to be looking at. You want to look at a 3080 card. The card's the things that's making all of the computations happen. You want it to be non-LHR. LHR is a card that's been basically crippled to keep miners from buying the card, and that means that the gamers can actually get a chance to use them. But a non-LHR card is what you're looking for. And this is where you find these things. I mean, this is a 4 GPU mining rig for less than $1,000 with one of these cards. Oh no, it's got an FHR. We want a non-FHR. But you can see here, these are, it's a 3070 rigs. These rigs, usually they will sell them to you retail for like $10,000. I promise you, no matter what they tell you, at least right now with coin prices the way they are, you will not cash flow them. This is the only place that you can be doing this, and they're selling them by the caseload. People are like, oh, you can't find them. Dude, they're everywhere. They're all over the place. These cards, these rigs, everything else. In fact, let's just do this. One GPU rig. Well, that's a little too much. We don't want to do more than 4 GPUs in a set, because unless you've got a serious power supply and a really good way to cool it, it's not going to work. You got to keep these a little bit contained into packs of 4 is what I find, what I have seen from a power standpoint that works. These are all big units. Big. Like 8 is great, but it's to keep it cool. Unless you live in Tennessee like I do, where 9 months of the year it's like you can stick it in your garage and be all right. There's a 3068. Oh, well, there's a 3090 for $2,000. That's not bad. Not great, not bad. What we want to do is find a mining rig that's got 4 slots, that has 1 card already in it, and then we just find 3 more cards. There's another one. Non-LHAR mining, a bunch of them in there. And with a little bit of research, like this is ridiculous. That's way too much money. With a little bit of research, you can literally create a situation where you're able to cash flow better than Ethereum if prices stay the same, if prices go down, if prices move up and then come back down. The only time mining doesn't quite pay off is if it doubles and holds. Then Ethereum does a little bit better. But every other way, mining beats holding, which is not what they're telling us. You just got to buy right. And that's the same with real estate, buying right. Vending is like shooting goldfish in a glass. It's so easy to make money, especially now with the revelation that Daz gave us that the government is issuing contracts in their government buildings for vending machines on sam.gov. It's like, that's the hardest thing, is where do we put these? Well, if you've got an LLC and I can show you how to register for sam.gov, and all of a sudden you can do government contracts and you have access to all the contracts, and you've got $15,000 from us, you could buy 5 of these machines. You're laughing. Any of you would turn down $60,000 a year? Because guess what you could do with that after a year? Go take some of that and give it to Davian. Now you got vending machines cash flowing, and now you got Amazon cash flowing. You guys see this? How you can leverage on leverage? I'm not even talking real estate. I'm just talking small business by small business. What are the chances vending's going to go away? None. What are the chances Amazon's going to go away? Like negative none. What are the chances real estate's going away? None. Mining, it might go away. I'd give it 2 years. But if you can cash flow it, take the money and run. Churro, what are the chances cars are going away? None. We've been hitting this hard, you guys. Some of you are already in Churro. And look, Bank of America will let you borrow 4 cars worth of money. That's not level 1 credit. That's the down payment that you get from our level 1 to pay their down payment, 10% per car, so you could get $60,000 worth of car for nothing? Yes. How much do they cash flow? Well, check it out. Daz has got a 4 payment way. This is just if you do Turo and you rent 20 days a month. Some of you know that you can rent out the side, the back, and the passenger side of your car with ad space. Didn't think of that, did you? How about this? What if you give it to DoorDash, a guy who does DoorDash, and he can use your car? Cash flow every day. all day? What about a Lyft driver cash flow every day, all day? What about a right? You just turned a single cash flow instrument into a triple cash flow instrument. It goes on from there, y'all. Creativity. How much are we making off of these 4 cars that we didn't have to spend any money for? Could you do it? Would everybody be all right if I said, listen, for $1, I could help you turn that into $100,000 a year. If that's you, if you're like, I would do that, put a 5 in the chat box. And some of you are like, well, but I don't have any credit. I don't want to hear that anymore. Freon's the first one at, buddy, I'm going to get you there. It may not even be with Turo, but I'm going to get you there. I don't want to hear the excuses about, I don't have credit. I just blew those out of the water 30 minutes ago. Go back and review. And if you're not sure, reach out. I'm going to show you how to do it. We got YouTube videos on how to get around your credit. Yes, please. Please clean up your credit. But there's ways around it. Only Freon and Tonya. That's it. Everybody else is good being poor. All right. It's a free country. It's all right. Tonya, we're going to get you there. Freon, we're going to get you there. And then here's the thing I've been talking about. This was our original plan. This is what was brought to us, which is absolutely great. When you get about $40,000 or more from our level 1, then you can go buy a seasoned company for $35,000, give or take. You're going to be in a negative cash flow situation, but because it's 0% for however long it is, how long you get, you can easily cover this by getting more of your cash and paying for it. So it never comes out of your pocket. In fact, you should probably borrow enough money to make this payment, which would be $400 a month. For about 6 months, because that's about how long it's going to take your seasoned company once you purchase it to raise enough credit and build its credit to be able to get that $400,000 or $500,000 a month. Once you do that, then you can actually pull again and do it again. But after that, you've got $500,000 worth of credit. During that time, there's everybody's fives. Thank you, everybody. I just wasn't sure I was talking to zombies and poor people because nobody's hear that. Either one. Now you've taken that time to find some real estate. You're like, that's the apartment I want. It's $1.2 million. I know I want it at 65% occupancy or less. We just had one come in at 33%. I'm like, oh, such a no-brainer if you knew how to solve the 35% occupancy. And maybe it cash flows a little bit a month to you, but that's okay because a year later you figured out how to solve it. You've got that up to 95% occupancy, and now that $1.2 million is now worth $1.3 million and a quarter. You sell it, you pocket $550, and now you've got all this credit that was available to you and now $500,000 in cash to leverage or use. Meantime, you've got all these other businesses still cash flowing to you. Cash flowing. Heck, you could do this and go buy 100 vending machines. Or I think Davian would know what to do with the $500,000 on Amazon, wouldn't you, Davian? If somebody goes, here's a $500,000, can you make me some money on Amazon?
Oh yeah, that'd be crazy.
Well, it wouldn't be that crazy. You'd be like, yep. I know.
No, I'm talking about the all the sales.
Yeah, right. You'd be like,
Yeah.
we're gonna make some money.
Yeah.
So absolutely, the only thing holding y'all back is your creativity, and we're trying to do our best to bring, opportunities your way. And this is where it starts. You got to start here, unless you got 40 or 50 large sitting in your bank account. But we've had those people come to us. And they're like, well, I got money. Why do I need funding? Well, technically you don't. But do you really want to use money that you've spent time that you can't get back to use when you could deploy that somewhere else? Instead, use institutions' money that won't cost you other than $1 to get. You can get it now. Some people get it, some people don't. Just real briefly, that's our funding program. Then we have a real estate program. If you do have capital you want to work with, we have hundreds of off-market properties that we get daily in 21 different states, all kinds of stuff. Oop, I didn't mean to do that. All kinds of stuff. And this is an example of one way that you could do this if you'd gone through our program and got level 1, 2, and 3 credit. That's that 65% occupancy on a nice apartment complex, 11 cap that we turn into something much nicer. When we get it to a 95%, you end up with a nice chunk of change and a nice $80,000 for the year's worth of work. This is if you want to do like triplexes in Memphis, which are really inexpensive in an international port, which is Memphis. And, you know, you can cash flow that. That ain't bad. On $750,000 to make $50,000 a year. Is it crypto level? No, but it's regular. And this will happen in a bear market because Memphis doesn't go down in prices. How much does it cost you? It's expensive. What do we need for real estate? Well, you got to know what you're doing. You need to have a proof of funds that you got the money or the credit. You need to do an NDA or a non-compete letter of intent with us. And you need to have your buyer agent, whoever is helping you, which probably shouldn't be anybody because we'll help you find the properties, be less than 1%. And we can talk about that next. The last thing I want to show y'all is the passive income structure. I got lots of affiliates on this call. Thank you, affiliates, for joining us, for supporting us as we do our best to support you. For the real estate, you get paid for everything that you bring in down 5 levels. It goes from 0.25% down to, whatever that is, 0.05%. So if somebody sold $1 million property here down on your 5th level down, that somebody you brought in, that they brought in, that they brought in, that they brought in, that they brought in, you're going to make that $5,000. I think it is $5,000 for sitting at home watching TV. Oh, they closed another $1 million property. Yay! The people that you bring in, you get 1% on all their real estate. So that $1 million property, you just made $10,000. That's not bad. And then 1% on all funding. So you bring in somebody that gets funding, they get $100,000. You just got a nice, cool $1,000. And then for affiliate fees, which doesn't amount to much, but it is nice. It's a nice several coffees for the week when you bring somebody in on your downline. And we do this over and over and over, and it becomes, I'm not going to get into the pay structure. It's so boring, you guys, but it just means that you're making passive income on people that are brought in, that people brought in on the real estate side, and that's where we build the volume. That's how we build an ongoing business income. So our goal for you as an affiliate, our success, we know we've hit success with you when you're doing $100,000 a month. I don't care how, whether it's through affiliates, through funding, through Shopify stores, through real estate, whatever that is. And we basically tell you, here's what you need to do. What's your number? Some of you on here have a number, you want to make $30,000 a month. I worked with you on that. Here's what you got to do monthly to make that happen. Some of you want $5,000 a month. That would change your life, change your family's life. Here's what you got to do. Here are the numbers for that. I got a guy who wants to do $100,000 a month. He's got to get busy. This is our success. If we're not hitting this, then we're not done with you. We're not done with you. All right. Anybody excited? Put that exclamation point in there. But here's what you need to be if you're going to join us. Because we don't take everybody. Some people we've already let go because they weren't a good fit. Seriously. It's nothing personal, but we have a specific energy. And the people that join us, thank you, Freon. You're first, buddy. You've been first 3 times in a row. You know what that means. 3 times is perfection. They got to be coachable. You got to understand this is hard for people. If you're not failing, there's no way you can succeed. Do you know how many times Daz and I have failed already doing this? Davian knows. If you're not failing, you're scared. If you're a Major League Baseball player, sorry, I'm going to get on my high horse here, y'all, but here it comes. Soapbox. If you're a Major League Baseball player, you guys who understand baseball, and you're world class, what's your batting average by the end of the season? Put it in the chat box. What's your batting average? That means, for those of you who don't understand, how many times, yeah, Davian, exactly right. Fail forward. How many times did you get on base versus you struck out, were thrown out, were pop flied out, whatever. How many times versus it's a ratio. So if you were, that's where the expression batting 1,000 comes from. 1,000, division means 1. You're 1 over 1. It's 100%. You never got out. You never struck out, never pop fly, never thrown out, never. Always got on base. Okay? By the end of the season, you sports people, a world-class hitter, what is his or her, well, still his. What is his, in the major leagues anyway, batting average? Put it in the chat box. What's his batting average? Give or take. Come on, Jerry. Put it in there. World class. Jerry, 185? No, that's not world class. I'd call that National League pitcher hit ratio by the end of the season. Good guess, though. I mean, that's good. I know guys that can really hit. But I think Babe Ruth was higher than that. I call him world class. Pete Rose. You guys remember Pete Rose? Anybody else? I'm going to say this, and you guys can argue with me. Jerry, you can argue with me, just as long as we stay short. 250. By the end of the season, if you hit, okay, well, that's fair. All right. Stick to the bagels. Boiled. If you hit 250, 250 means you're on base a quarter of the time, 3/4 of the time. You're struck out, popped out, fly out, thrown out. You're out. Now that's all fun and games on TV for a pitcher. But imagine if every sales call you had, 3 out of 4 times they said no and slammed the door in your face. Imagine if every consult you had, every phone call you had, every girl you asked out, 3 out of 4 times you got a no, door slammed in your face. Not a, oh, well, I'm really sorry, but you're out. Oh, strike 3. Could you do that? Now, some of you have an 800 batting average, 900 batting average. That means 9 out of 10 times you're winning. And you're like, I'm so good. You know what I'm here to tell you? If you got a 9 out of 10 batting average, you ain't risking. You're playing it safe. And if you're playing it safe, you ain't ever going to get out of the structure you're in. You're not going to hit it over the fence. You're not even going to get out of Double-A, you baseball fans. You're not going to get to the major leagues. We got to risk. Risk requires the risk of failure. And if we're not failing more than we're succeeding, for a while at least, we'll never truly succeed. Now, Daz and I don't really want to see you fail 3 times out of 4. But you got to be able to take it and go, you know what? I might. Daz and I have, in this business, we've probably failed now. We're probably batting 200 now, 1 out of 5. Because we've hit a lot of roadblocks. We're still hitting roadblocks. But that's good. Because we know that if we're not failing in the beginning, and this is our beginning, man, we sure don't want to fail hard later when we're doing $2 or $3 billion a month. We don't want to fail then, maybe once in a while then. But we've taken the risk. We've learned the lessons. And some of you still haven't learned the lesson. We're here to help you. We're here to get you there. We're here to help you build community. Some of you are afraid of community. Some of you are afraid of cold calling. Some of you are afraid of doing connections. But these are the things that affiliates are either willing to do or are already good at. You either bring a community, you're killer at cold calling, or you're great at constructing teams. Carrie Mack is good at a lot of these things, but her superpower is constructing teams. These are also things that that are helpful. You don't need to have them, but you probably should have. It's helpful to have one of these. For us, Daz and I, we have put tens of thousands of dollars into understanding real estate, banking, team building, marketing, all this stuff. And this is, I think I've spent this. I don't know how much she spent. So what we're going to give to you, and if you're on that Saturday morning call, real estate, that comes out of this number. That $35,000 that I spent with Robert Kiyosaki and the work that I did with my dad, selling commercial real estate, you're getting that on Saturday mornings. This account is being withdrawn for you. But this is what it's cost us and more to bring this to you. But obviously, we're not going to charge you that. It doesn't make any sense. To be an affiliate, it costs $19.95, and for all that, you get this. And we're going to train you directly. We're going to train you directly on how to do what we do and expand and build. That's what we're trying. That's our intent. So you can build generational wealth. And if this is not a number that you can handle and or you are not able to get the credit from level 1 to, because obviously this would be an easy way to not have to pay it, take it out of the credit that you're getting at 0%. We can do 3 payments of $675. That's the whole plan, y'all. In brief, the 35,000-foot view. So many things around this. If you want to get into the details, Saturday mornings at 10 a.m. Eastern, we have our real estate training calls. For those of you who are affiliates, we have our affiliate calls on Sunday afternoon where we teach all kinds of fun things and get everybody to get excited. And we've been even doing guided meditations lately, so it's been pretty fun. And I keep promising that we're going to do happy hour on Friday nights, but I keep having things interrupt my Friday nights. I just had my well go out on my land, so I got 760 feet of galvanized rotted pipe sitting on my front lawn right now. They're going to bring it all back and put it all back together so the water to this property happens again. But anyway, any questions about this? If you're going to apply, please do so. You can apply tonight. I would suggest that you do for the level 1 funding, because if you don't, things will happen and you'll forget and won't do it tomorrow. This is how you do it. 3 scores now. Download the PDF. To funding at Legacy Ascending, give us the name, address, phone, last 4 of your social in the body. And honestly, we guarantee 72 business hours, but you'll probably have it same day. The approval or the denial with a reason. Anybody got questions? Some of you are already like, I got to get to Mark. We got to get that Amazon store running. Let's do it. I'll connect you with Davian. We'll roll it. Yeah, Tonya, thank you for joining us. Such a pleasure to have you. We do this call every Thursday night. We bring to you on Thursdays the newest, the latest, the greatest stuff that is coming to us. Right now that we have these new promised lower money required stores up and running and connected and good vendors, we're going to now kind of take our lens back to the real estate side and start focusing on building that side of the business as well. So we're real excited, y'all. All right, I don't have any questions. This is going to go up on our YouTube channel here in about an hour. Thank you all. I love you all madly, and have a great week. We'll talk soon.